So in Module 2, this is an exercise or a practice rather that has been hugely transformational for so many of my clients, and it becomes a real treasure. So I want it to be there for you. It's not essential, but it really does make a huge difference. So I urge you to introduce this as a daily practice to support everything else you're doing, where we're layering the conscious and the unconscious. And what this is called is your Insignificant Moments of Joy journal. And the reason I call it Insignificant Moments of Joy is because it's all about the small stuff. Because one of the difficulties we face, and when we get ourselves into trouble and we can't get past things, is what we tend to do is when it comes to all the negative stuff, we're very, very good at capturing every tiny nuance and subtlety and detail and repeat and regurgitate time after time. So you ask anyone, if you want any proof of this, anyone who's under stress to tell you about something that's bothering them, and wait for how expansive and extensive a story that becomes. You know, something that annoyed you. Think about how much detail your mind goes into about what someone said and how they said it and when they said it and who said what as well, and what was going on in the background, and it becomes a very lengthy story. Your brain loves detail. But when it's focused on the things you don't want, it becomes unhelpful, because what you're doing is intensifying and digging deeper the tracks, the neural pathways, reinforcing their power and their strength, so that your brain finds it much easier and much quicker to get you into a place you don't want to be in. So with this Insignificant Moments of Joy journal, what you do is you work with the brain how it likes to work. You give it lots of tiny details, lots of sensory information that it thrives on, to start strengthening and nurturing and building new, fresh, positive neural pathways. And those positive neural pathways, here's the other thing that we tend to do when we focus on something we want. We make it something very big and something we can look forward to. We love that, something to look forward to. But it's as if we put the rest of our life on hold while we wait for that lovely thing in the future to happen. Like our holiday, which isn't going to happen right now, our weekend away, our marriage, our birthday, someone else's birthday, an event, a restaurant, a visit somewhere. Even if these happen on a weekly basis, that isn't enough. What we're about with reinvention is transforming day-to-day life, so that each and every day becomes richer, better, more joy-filled, with insignificant moments of joy. So this is about providing daily nurture and sustenance. Your brain needs this, and it wants it frequently, which is why I mentioned insignificance, because it really isn't insignificant, but it seems insignificant to your conscious mind. So let me explain what I mean by this. Your brain loves, as I said, sensory information. In another training, I'll be talking about pattern matching. I've mentioned it already. But pattern matching is driven in your unconscious brain by a myriad of sensory inputs. So the more you can capture in your journal, note things down, all the little things that make you feel good. Start being very much more acutely aware with each of your senses of what you like, what you enjoy, what lights you up, what makes you smile, what makes you laugh, what makes you just feel nice. So I'm giving you some examples. It might be that on a hot day, you know, that beautiful fresh water, that might happen every morning when you wash. It might happen the moment you step in the shower. This might not be your thing, but it's a beautiful sensory experience that you might choose to capture in your Insignificant Moments of Joy journal. Or it could be a flavour, a taste, A cup of coffee, the pleasure. Think of all the sensory inputs that could be stimulated with a cup of coffee if that's your thing. There's taste, there's aroma, there's warmth, there's sensation, there's place. Remember? Your subconscious mind captures everything. So it's where you are, who are you with, what are you doing, what is the texture of the table underneath the coffee, the cup, everything. So you capture these little moments and you add in, without turning it into a complete essay, but add in as much sensory information as you can. So rather than just saying, had a nice cup of coffee, if that's your thing, you could say, had a nice cup of coffee, it was particularly strong, it was a flat white, it was in Costa Coffee, there was a beautiful view from the window, I could see people outside were laughing, there was a conversation that was interesting inside, I got the really nice comfy sofa in the window. Do you see how that adds texture and detail? And those are the kind of things that I want you to put in your Insignificant Moments of Joy journal, because those are the kind of things that happen on an everyday basis. Except when we're in COVID-19. But you could still have that lovely coffee at home and you could capture that level of detail. Or it could be a bird. Now this is something we can capture, even in lockdown. More and more people drawn to the outside world to notice the sound of a bird singing. The sight of it flitting across our eye line, sitting on a branch, the blossoms, the fragrance. Tiny, insignificant moments that you want to capture, because otherwise you will lose them. And you want your brain to focus. You want to create a new pathway to get your brain to focus where you want, on what makes you happy, on situations, circumstances, sensations, senses, flavours, tastes, sights, sounds. Or a little seedling, just growing in the garden, some nice mud, whatever it is for you. I'm just presenting some examples. It could be a smile of a stranger on the street. It could be a thank you. Capture moments daily, at least one moment per day. So you're building a library, a resource that lifts your spirits just by doing it. And subsequently, when you have those low moments, to pick you back up again. And this is a rich part of your reinvention, a new habit you want to create that builds and layers with all the others. So I hope this makes sense. Remember, little things matter. The more sensory information you can capture, the better. It's moments, tiny moments, like this one with a stroking a pet, putting on a pair of slippers even, moments. The more frequent you record those moments and the more frequently they happen, the ordinary moments, the better it is, because you're going to capture more of them and you're building a stronger neural network that's linking. If you imagine, the more points you put in on your journey, the easier it is to join up the dots to create a stronger pathway. So start your Insignificant Moments of Joy journal today. If you can find a beautiful book that supports that loveliness, that feels nice when you touch it, that's got lovely colours and using nice pens or pencils, then all the better. But it doesn't really matter. Any notebook will do. You can even capture it on your phone, but make sure you do it. Any questions? Post them over on the Facebook group, which is Midlife Reinvention, the private Facebook group, although there is a public one. You can go to either, but for this program of Midlife Reinvention, the private group is just for you. Okay, good luck with it.